Good evening, Winthrop Live. Coming to you through the YouTube channel today. Hopefully, all the folks can find their way over here.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna since you Facebook mysteriously within 24 hours of being called out on 60 Minutes, and I know this is a Winthrop Votes thing, but we're gonna wait to see if people cross over into the YouTube channel. Our generation, some of them aren't really that tech savvy, and I'm not dogging them, but it's a fact. It's just a fact. Like,
you can.
I got to hit another button to go to YouTube. Oh,
yeah, too much work. I'm out.
Forget it.
John Rich, are you out there? You told me you were going to follow us.
Well, it's 8 now, so like I said, we wanted to come on a little early, so don't mind us if we kind of just kill a minute or 3 to see if people are technically savvy. We got one.
Bingo. Here we go.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, hello.
So, but isn't it funny how within 24 hours being called out in 60 Minutes, Facebook mysteriously goes down for hours?
I was digging in. There's 2 schools of thought out there. One is that the 60 Minutes thing is hurting them, but obviously not because they're back up, right?
Well, who knows what they would do? At that time, they were down.
Something that's fair too.
Purge? Were they purging?
Well, she's got it all printed. She's got all the documentation. And for those who are on here, if you don't know, I cannot remember the young lady's name, but she was on 60 Minutes last night, and she basically,
her last name is Haug.
Yeah, Haug. Yeah, that's right.
H-A-U-G-E.
She exposed what she believes to be Facebook putting profits over people by them driving hate. And I absolutely believe that they know full well what they're doing, the way they manipulate messages. I mean, honestly, I think the powers that be at Facebook saw Trump's presidency as a freaking cash cow for them, because the clicks were insane. All of that went insane with the hate towards him. So
again, it's one of those things. So, all right, well, we got 5, 6, 7, 8 people popping on now. So, so this YouTube thing, like I said, Facebook is down. The Facebook Live is down tonight, so we're streaming through YouTube. So, all right, ready?
Yeah, hopefully this. Yeah, let's do a good show. This should be a good one. Actually, got a lot of things to talk about. A lot of good fodder for the evening. But before we go there, I'd be remiss if I didn't say. And I want to thank Celeste once again, Heinonen, for coming on. By the way, she had a meet the candidates time at the beach on Saturday. Went out there and had a conversation with her, some coffee, decent turnout. We broke 200 views with her interview. 200 views of that show.
Yeah.
So, and we're up over 230 members of the group. Oh, what are you doing?
I'm checking the YouTube channel. I had
what are you
to turn
doing?
the volume down. I'm checking the YouTube channel, making sure it's right and everything.
Do I have to remove your title of greatest producer in the country
on Facebook? Greatest producer
on Facebook. Well, now it's just Boca Raton for the rest of the evening.
Okay. All right.
Anyhow, so yeah, I wanted to say that. I wanted to thank everybody that's been watching, sharing. Keep sharing it. The momentum is happening. I'm actually finding that I'm getting more interest from private phone calls, more people willing to give us a shot. So tonight, I don't know, should I mean, where do we start? Maybe a quick flag policy update. I think the Winthrop flag policy is going to be moot. Interesting breaking news. The Supreme Court is taking up the case against the Boston City Council, because they were just a Christian group that wanted to fly a Christian flag over City Hall, made the claim, took the case to the Supreme Court, saying that they were discriminated against based upon their viewpoint. And the Supreme Court looks like it's agreeing, because they're going to hear the case. Usually, if there's no shot, and I think given the makeup of the Supreme Court, we're looking at a 5-4-6-3 decision saying cities and towns will no longer be able to discriminate based upon viewpoint, and that will be the linchpin, which means cities and towns will either have an all policy, anyone who wants to fly a flag flies a flag, or a nothing policy, only American, Massachusetts, and POW. So,
so you mean the Winthrop Diversity and Inclusion Committee won't get a shot at reviewing the new flag policy in Winthrop to make sure that only people that they want can fly flags?
Yeah,
but not guys like you and me, maybe. Wow, yeah. That's upsetting.
You see how sometimes the Civil Rights Act kind of works both ways, right?
Yeah, so that has to be put on hold. They can't make a move on that, right?
No, I mean, it's just a waste of time if they do, because the Supreme Court, you can, if you violate it, you're violating the law of the land.
I don't think the acting town manager / police chief wants to cross that line. Well, not if he was smart.
I'm fairly sure he won't.
But Phil might, because Phil Boncory, he's acting is probably a Freudian slip, because he only acts like a town council president, or he can't act like a town council president, whatever it is. He'll do it because Phil seems to be able to do whatever he wants.
I want someone to ask him a question in the meeting, and I've been encouraging my contacts on the council to do it in an open meeting so that we can understand what this guy is saying. When he talks about the budget, he uses the word physical budget. Is the word physical meaning, is he talking about holding the budget in his hand, or is he actually talking about the fiscal year budget? Because it is, obviously I could probably deduce it from context if I go back and think about it. But the fact of the matter is, I don't know. Someone's got to give this guy a grip.
Well, breaking news. We are streaming on Facebook right now.
Ooh, that's exciting.
Yeah, considering they were saying we can't, but I seem to see us. See, all right, I'm on it. I told you. I looked up in my icons. I didn't see anything stopping them.
All right, so now we go from the greatest on Facebook, greatest producer on Facebook in Boca, to the greatest on the East Coast of Florida. All right? All right.
I'm moving back up the chain.
It's going to take some time.
What's the latest and the greatest on the election coming up? Any
Yeah, so I mentioned, so let's go to that. Let's go to just school committee stuff, because I think that's probably, in my opinion, besides the council president, the most important election.
Right.
Because it is the largest percentage of our budget, and it always, the way that when it comes to this is something interesting that people that live in Winthrop should truly try to understand. Typically, the way the payroll goes in Winthrop is however the teacher's contract settles. So in other words, if the teacher contract turns out to be pick your number, 2, 2, and 2, meaning a 2% increase for the first, 2 second, 2 third, the rest of them are all going to say, well, we want what they got. And there's this whole mantra within the town employees that you can't give, it's not fair to give one employee a raise than another. And, I can make so many cogent, intelligent arguments to the contrary of that, but we won't, not tonight. So that is coming up. And that's why I think the school committee is one of the more important ones. That being said, I just want to remind people watching this, we have 7 candidates for 3 open seats. 7 candidates, 3 open seats. That means anyone who's not in the top 3 spots on the ballot are at a bit more risk, because they're not going to pick up those lazy votes, right? The person who goes in and says, oh, I don't really care about school committee, which is probably the majority of the town, right? Because they don't have kids in school. So they're just going to go click, 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 first 3. Oh, these 3 must be on top because of a reason. And they're going to go boom, boom, boom. If you have a candidate in the hunt that's position 4 or lower, be an advocate for them if you want them, if they're in position 4 or lower, and this is coming from me, I know who I like in the 4 or lower categories, and every one of them has come out and said to me, I'm for the kids. I want to protect the children. Those are the ones I want to win. And there's 5 of them out of the 7 on that council, on that ballot.
So it's interesting you should say that. So after the after the live stream last week, there's comments underneath on the Winthrop Votes Facebook group, and Adriana KP, she actually put out a pretty good comment. She said, and I'm going to read it because she kind of nailed it. She said, I know we're focused on big items like the impacts of CRT, school choice, the budget, etc. There are a lot of small issues that can be addressed that the school committee and those running can say, look what we accomplished for the students of Winthrop, crossing guards, the bus program, academic support due to the pandemic, reasonable length of day for students. The list can go on of powerful impact change that can happen. The school committee is really the watchdog to make sure things are on track, and it's disheartening to see the state of affairs right now. I don't think we are in the dump, but I also believe things can get better and our kids deserve better. So, yeah, there's a lot of issues. I know we focus on, the big three, but there is a lot of issues that the school committee has to make decisions on.
So, it's interesting with regard to the school committee candidates. I got my hands on a questionnaire that was created by, air quotes, a group of committed and concerned parents and other community members. And it was sent to the candidates on the ballot. And the email, well, I'll read the email a little. I'll read the note. Congratulations.
You want me to pull it up on the screen?
No, I got it.
Okay.
I'm gonna show it when we get to the right spot.
Okay.
Yeah. Congratulations on running for school committee, and thank you for your commitment to our community. With the crowded field running to fill 4 seats this November, a group of parents and other concerned citizens thought it would be helpful to voters to have more information on your position on a number of key issues. We are inviting all the candidates to answer the below questions, which we will then share with voters on social media and via email. Please be as succinct as possible, keeping each response to 200 words or less, as we do not want to edit your answers. We literally plan on copying and pasting your replies. If we do need to edit, we will cut only for length. So be sure your most important points are at the start of each answer. Okay, before I get to the questions, does this sound like a free-flowing conversation for these candidates to be able to respond, have their responses kind of questioned and probed a little bit to ensure understanding on all sides? Does it sound like that to you?
Edited for length. Hey, if you're going to have a survey like this, because it's basically a survey and a questionnaire to the candidates, let them say what they need to say. I mean, why do you have to limit them? Why do you have to edit out? We're going to cut out the whole bottom of what you said. What if everything they had to say was pertinent? Because evidently to them, everything they're saying is pertinent. But these concerned parents decide, well, don't make us edit your answer. What are they? That makes no sense. Let them answer.
And I think we have a comment. Do we have a comment that just came over?
Yeah, hold on.
Yeah, can we? It says Facebook user, so I don't understand who that is, but
that's someone on the Facebook group. Yeah.
Right. Well, it says, okay, you don't want to edit our answers. What a joke. I mean, clearly you may be one of the people, and you're welcome to call in, by the way, who put this together. I only know one, and just if you'll bear with me, I was trying to. Can you see my screen at all?
I can see. Yeah, I can see your screen. You want me to bring it up?
Not yet, no. Because
okay,
I'm fumbling. Okay, so okay, yeah, bring it up. Give me the juice. How does that look? Does that look full size to people? Okay, fair enough. This is a screenshot from a Facebook post I got my hands on. We are asking people to stay in the range, 200 words per question. We will not be editing or changing substantially your responses. Can you tell me what that means?
Who's determined what's substantial? Are they going to take out the words like the and it and they, like, because it lacks substance?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. It's I don't get it.
So what else? The 200 words per question, just so it's not too cumbersome.
Right. So it's not too cumbersome. We absolutely do not want to change your answers, as we would lose all credibility. The point is to side by side. So, okay, I love this part, the side by side part. Okay.
All right. So let's give this context. Because we just had a comment. It says, you're reading it wrong. She had nothing to do with it. She says it's a joke and they want to edit them. So Lenora Foley just reposted this, right?
What I put up?
Yeah.
Yeah, not repost. It was posted out on Facebook, and I got a copy of it.
Yeah, somebody just commented in, though. Whoever sent this out, Lenora, it's not her.
Oh, okay.
Lenora Foley is not the one who's saying this. Her comment says, Julie, see my comment above. We will not be editing. So, because what is this comment? It says you're reading it wrong. She had nothing to do with it. She says it's a joke. Who's she?
I don't know. All I see is what I see in print in front of me, and I don't even care about the Leonora Foley bit. Who cares? Okay, maybe she's got nothing to do with it. Whoever's behind this, the fact that you're keeping it secret, and we don't know who why am I? Okay, let's go concerned citizens. Scott, if this group really gave a rat about concerned citizens, why would they leave me out? I mean, am I not the most vocal concerned citizen in the town of Winthrop?
Well, got a live stream.
Why weren't you asking me for my input on questions? And I served for 4 years. You may not like me. You may think things of me, but I have opinions that sometimes are correct. And in fact, when it comes to the schools, and oh, by the way, the teachers union, I've been correct all along for years. I've been right. So at the end of the day, this to me, compare candidates side by side. I'm getting a little frustrated because as I think about this, it's just so insane to me. They had this event a while back when I was running that I wouldn't participate in because it was meet the candidates night, and all that was the organizers asked questions and the candidates could answer, but the candidates couldn't challenge each other. So essentially, you could sit up there as a candidate and just spew whatever information you wanted to, and it goes unchallenged. That's not a debate. That doesn't help people decide one by the other, because in those instances, they ask the same question. How do you support teachers? Do you do you want to give teachers a raise, or will you support a contract? Whatever the question is. And if you deviate from the word yes, you've been X'd, and you don't even, it's just such, it was just not what I would have wanted.
So it said, pull that up one more time.
Oh, shoot. I think that's I lost it. Hold on. I got to find it because it's a month.
Because it said we want to compare the candidates side by side.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure these candidates have had meet and greets, right?
Yeah. Right here. So, candidates side by side.
Yeah. Give the voters a chance to compare the candidates side by side, as there are so many people running and some of us had no idea who the candidates are. You have already answered 2 of the questions, I hope. Oh. So it's all right. We want to know who you are, right? So why don't you just let them be free form? Why not? The word edit should never even be included. I wouldn't fill out a survey. I would not fill out any survey or questionnaire if it says, we might have to edit you. So let's see. Someone wants to see it larger, I guess.
Yeah, I'm working on that too.
I wouldn't fill out anything that said we might have to edit you. What is that?
I like this right here. Like this tells me right here all I need to know. You're asking to see the questions before the test. Like, what are these people 6 years old that you're sending this to?
So it is Lenora Foley that's sending all this out. Okay,
it's got to be. She's got to be one of them.
She said, "What are you guys asking for the questions in advance?" Well, you know what? Truth be told, when we have people come on this show, and we have about 2 or 3 more people that are coming on. We give them a heads up on, you're not going to be submarined. We're not here to start a fight with you. We're not going to provoke you. We don't give them the questions per se, but we give them the topics that we might be talking about, because nobody wants to come on and not know anything about what's going on, Right. Why would they want to do that? That's why people come on, because they know we're not giving them questions. We're going to say, okay, we might want to talk about the school committee. We might want to talk about what's going on with the town council president. We might want to talk about, so they at least have a rough idea,
right?
Of what we're going to ask them. But this survey is saying we're not going to give you the questions before. What?
Look at question number 3.
The most recent census shows that Winthrop's white population has dropped below 80%. With Latin, I will not say that Latinx. That is made up by white liberals. The Latin people don't even use Latinx. So with this exactly who wrote this. All right? Yep. We know exactly the type of person that wrote this. Latinx is a made-up name. It's a made-up name that Latin... Look, I live in South Florida. I worked with... on any given day, 100 Latin people from Argentina, Ecuador, Brazil, Cuba, Puerto Rico. None of them refer to themselves as Latinx. Okay, so that's my rant on that. This is where now we know who wrote this. Okay, the most recent census shows that Winthrop white population has dropped below 80%, with the Latinx community, the Latin community, the Latino community, as I'll say, showing the largest increase at 12%. Assuming Winthrop will continue to follow this national trend, what challenges and opportunities does this present? How do you think the Winthrop Public Schools can best serve all students? How's this? How about if we treat them all the same? Okay?
What a novel concept.
How about if we treat all the kids the same? Okay? I don't care if you're black, white, yellow, orange, blue, whatever. If you came from Planet Unicorn. How's that for an answer? It doesn't make a difference if they're Latino. It doesn't make a difference. But right there, that's a provocative question right there.
It's a setup.
It's a setup question. I mean, are you serious? Are these people serious? No, you know what? They're insane. I'm saying it right now. I don't care. We're live. Unfriend me. Oh, you're probably not my friend. This is insanity.
I think the king is showing up. I think the king of Facebook just showed up.
No. This is the honest to God truth. That is so ridiculous. Treat them all the same. Like they make it like, hey, listen now, white people. You have Latin people coming in now. So what's the opportunity here? Just like we had the caller a couple of weeks ago saying, well, the Latin community they don't feel safe or they don't feel welcome. Well, how about if the neighbors get out and everybody just meets each other? What is this thing that they're creating?
Scott, will you?
I'm done.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Will you put up that comment that just came in? ELL students need additional support. Whoever said this, whoever wrote this, please clarify.
I'll find out who it is.
Because
keep talking.
Are you suggesting that ELL students are brown and Latinx? Like, I don't get that comment. So
the Latino, not Latinx.
I'm sorry. Well, yeah, you're right. Because you're right. It's a made up. I agree with you. And how about, we'll wait for the answer on that one. How about the next one? We believe that Winthrop Public School teachers benefit greatly from the support of the school committee. What does this support look like to you? First of all, this question comes up all the time around contract negotiations and elections. This is the question. This is the biggest setup question on the planet. This is directly from the union. You're listening. You're going to listen. You're going to find out I said this. Your support comes from your union, okay? You have a teachers union to support you. We don't really know what you're talking about, okay? But support from the school committee, you don't need support. They don't support you. That's not their role. Their role is the budget, and their role is to help is to hire and fire the superintendent and develop the superintendent. That is it. That is their role. And they negotiate their contracts with you. And that's what you're getting at there. And you're looking to get an answer on that so you can hang the candidate that says no by their bootstraps on that one so that they can lose.
That was Wendy.
Okay.
Wendy Malapage.
We know she's not being racist here. Okay.
No. And I never assumed it was a racist statement. But again, we're going through this whole thing where they need additional support. For what? If they're sitting in a classroom with 27 other kids, what is their disadvantage? Because they're Latin? Is that their disadvantage?
They need to learn the English language, I think, is what she's beating around the bush and won't come right out and say. That is English language learner. That's what ELL stands for. Now, they may get other support out of the schools that I'm unaware of, but this is why, and this I said this before, and I was called a racist. I don't care what color you are. If you can't speak the language, I'm sorry. You need to learn at least the basics before you come to our school system and drag down. And we can put a public program together to support that if we have to. But for God's sakes, you slow down the rest of the class. That's a fact.
Listen, ELL students. So, what do they get? What do they get? They get a tutor. Should we provide them a tutor? Right? No, I mean, if the school can afford a tutor, and then what? Do they have to? Are they going to have a different curriculum than the other kids?
They shouldn't be having a different curriculum.
Will they be in a different classroom than the other kids?
Shouldn't be.
I mean, we're not. I'm not dogging this. I'm just saying, if somebody comes in and doesn't speak the language, I'm almost 100% positive the school will say, we'll help you. We're going to take care of this. And they will. They'll figure out a way to do it. You know, I'm sure they're not going to go, can't really help you here. But East Boston. East Boston has a good program over there.
Ho!
Here we go.
But East Boston.
Turn your computer down. Turn your computer down.
It's down.
Okay. Well, all right. You're on Winthrop Votes live stream.
How's it going?
It's going good. Who's this?
It's Rob DeMarco. How are you?
Hey, Rob.
Hey,
friend of the show. Just like Wendy, friend of the show. Wendy's a friend of the show.
So listen, I was reading that sheet, and I was reading about the teachers, or the Winthrop teachers, do better when they have the support of the school committee. Let me first start by saying that I think the teachers in Winthrop, I have never had a bad teacher in Winthrop. I mean, my kids have been blessed. The teachers, when they've had them in class, have been awesome. I feel that the teachers are represented by the teachers union, or they're supposed to be. That's supposed to be the job of the teachers union, to support the teachers, to make sure they have the best working environment, to make sure that they have all the tools they need. That is on the teachers union. The school committee's top priority should not be the teachers. The school committee's top priority should be the students. What's best for the kids? That's the balance. The teachers union represents the teachers, and the school committee represents what's best for the students. That's why I don't think a school committee member should have a teacher's background. I don't think they should come from that background. I think a school committee member should be a parent. I think it should be a mom. It should be a dad. It should be somebody in the school system. So that's kind of my take on that question. I just wanted to get that out there.
Rob, your comments are really well received, and you're absolutely 110% spot on, in my opinion. I'd like to change the rules a little bit for electing school committee members to encourage more parents to participate. Working moms and part-time moms who want to be on the school committee don't want to go out and get signatures. They don't want to do the political thing. And private schools, their boards run very well without running local elections. I don't know if that's something we can work around with the laws en masse, but there's got to be a way to make it easier for parents to get involved.
No, and it's hard. I mean, it might sound like not that big a deal to ask a mom or dad or somebody working to go out and get 150 signatures, but but it's not that easy. I mean, and I'm sure I think Celeste was listening, and I mean, I'm sure a lot of the people running for school committee who are parents will tell you it's a pain in the neck to go out and get 150 signatures. It's not easy.
That's right.
So, especially, I mean, like, for example, today, my daughter got out, one daughter got out of school at 2:25. The other got out at 2:35. One had dance at 3:15. One had dance at 4:45. Luckily, track was canceled today. So I mean, it doesn't end as a parent. It doesn't end.
I don't miss any of it.
It's one of those things. Like, it's hard. It is hard to ask a parent who has no time to go out and get signatures. It is, but that's the rules, and you got to do it.
Right.
So.
Yeah,
and fortunately, we had 7 people who did it. I think that's a great thing that we have 7 people going to school committee. I think that's awesome.
Yes. No one should run unopposed. There should always be more than one person running for a position. Always. And it's 3 positions and 7 candidates. I love that. I love that.
Yeah, I think that's a great thing. Yeah. I was saying I'm unopposed. And you know what? As grateful as I am that I'm unopposed, part of me is like, I wish I had an opponent, because then you get to debate, and then people get involved, and it's a good
brings
thing.
out the best in you. As a person, as a public servant, when you're going up against somebody, well, it's either going to bring out the best in you or the worst in you, as we're seeing with the town council president case. But anyways, that's my opinion.
Hey, by the way,
out of it, Rob.
And Rob, by the way, you mentioned debate Wednesday night, the council president's race debate. I might give it a crack of like kind of putting my smartphone or something up on recording my Facebook screen so I can restream it. I'm going to see if I can jury rig something to kind of get the debate. It's going to be on WCAT. So
they broke out. It's serious. They broke out Macero. So they only bring them out in special occasions. I already told Phil, and I already told Jim, I'm going to have a cheese, pepperoni, and cracker tray all lined up. Maybe a bottle of wine. I'm going to have a great spread to watch this on Wednesday night. This is going to be fun.
Hey, Rob, Leo Haskell wants to know, when's the next middle school home cross country meet?
I don't know so I know there's one on Wednesday, but I don't think it's home. I think they're going to Gloucester. I think they got one more, Leo.
All right. Look at that. Rob DeMarco, a man of the people.
Yes, he
is. It's either this week or next week. Leo.
All right.
All right, guys.
Hey, Rob, always appreciate the calls, buddy.
Thanks for calling in.
I'll talk to you.
All right.
Bye.
So, by the way, I think I want to, WVL. What do you think of that? We can talk about it offline. Winthrop Votes Live, WVL.
Channel W. What are we coming up with this for?
Who knows? Things just enter my brain. Well,
hold that for the production meeting, okay?
All right, yeah. I'm gonna get I want to get my agent involved in the conversation. So we also had some interesting goings on in the last 24 hours with regard to town ordinance violations by our esteemed town council president, and also some open meeting violations that I think you might, should we talk about those now? What should we do
the open
first?
Meeting violations? We can do that next week, because there's plenty to go around.
Okay.
There's plenty to go around with those, because we have some more text messages that we want to show the voters of Winthrop that our illustrious town council president, who basically decides to do whatever he wants. Before we bring up the latest, I created a list. It's a running list now, okay? And my list is called Phil's I Don't Care list, okay? So I'm going to run down a little bit. Give me like 3 minutes of your time, okay?
Yeah, let's have it.
So Phil Boncory, the town council president, right? The Phil's I Don't Care list. Because Phil is a rogue politician. And if you support this guy and what his actions are, then I don't know what to say about you. The worst thing to have is a rogue politician, especially the town council president position, where this guy thinks he can just run rampant in Winthrop and he's going unnoticed because people aren't paying attention. I'm telling you, people, they bank on this stuff. All right. But we're Winthrop votes. So, okay. First on the list, he let Tracy Honan, town councilor at large, make a personal statement about what happened in Washington on January 6th at the beginning of a town council meeting, when in the past, Phil Boncory has denied others from doing so. For the record, January 6th had nothing to do with Winthrop or its politics or its issues. But she felt compelled, and I'll bring that video up next week, she felt compelled to denounce what happened. Her and two other town councilors denounced what happened on January 6th. Who gives a rat's ass? This is Winthrop, okay? But Phil let it happen, whereas in the past, and I'm sorry for using that comment, but it is what it is. In the past, Phil is told, well, actually, he's told his opponent, Jim Lettieri, no, you can't make any statements. This is a town council meeting. That's not what it's for. But Phil, who seems to be virtue signaling his way back into re-election,
trying to anyway,
lets this happen with probably the most liberal person on the Winthrop Town Council. Correct me if I'm wrong, Tracy Honan. You can come on anytime you want. And if you know her, tell her I invite her. It's an open invite. Come on.
We'll make a special night if she wants.
Yeah. And we'll be subtle and easy with it. We just got questions. We have questions. Okay, so aside from doing that, he flew the pride flag on the town green, which was against the town manager's standing rule that only the American flag, the Massachusetts state flag, and the POW flag will fly over town hall. But not Phil, not your illustrious town council president, King of Winthrop. He went out on his own and he virtue signaled a pride flag all the way up to the top of the pole. Once again, it's not about the flag. I have no problem with the flag itself. It's a rogue politician doing whatever he wants. There's rules to go by. He doesn't have any. He cost the town roughly $130,000 by running the town manager out of town, and in the process, sent the town manager intimidating text, what could be perceived as intimidating texts, and also perceived as threatening, and we have those text messages. So Phil, again, running roughshod. He also received and sent text messages from the town manager during a town council meeting, which is against town council rules. We have those texts, and we'll show them to you next week. He put up illegal campaign signage lately. Yeah. That's the issue. Oh, we're going to talk about that. And he currently has an interim town manager, interim town clerk, interim CFO. This is all under Phil Boncory's watch. If you don't see there's something wrong here and you vote for him, well, then I don't know what to tell you. This doesn't make any sense to me. Vote with your head. Vote for your town.
Let's just start with the signs.
The signage. There you go.
Okay, let's start with the signs. Let's go back to, I think, the 70s when Winthrop was town meeting with selectmen. Phil Boncory was part of that town government back then, okay? Phil Boncory is a lawyer, and Phil Boncory helped write and implement the charter and has been a town council member since this form of government's inception. So the idea that he didn't know his signs were too big, okay, let's assume he didn't know. Holy crap. Is that,
right?
Yeah.
Let's put up the ordinance.
Yeah, you might want to blow that sucker up.
Well, let's see. I can't get it any bigger, but it says Town of Winthrop Code of Municipal Ordinances. 17.32.030 Special Regulations. The provisions of Section 17.32.050 of this section, permitted signs, shall be the general controlling section for all signs. However, the special regulations set out in this section shall also apply. So the first one is the boundaries where you can put up signage. The second one has to do with churches and synagogues and the size of their signs. C is one sign not to exceed 15 square feet is allowed at each membership clubs. But D is the one. One temporary sign per lot for a candidate for town, county, state, or national office is permitted. Such sign shall not exceed 3 square feet in area. Then it goes on to say you have to have your sign down 48 hours after the election. So one sign, they can't be bigger than 3 square feet.
Here's a 6.
Here's a 6 square feet. There's 6 square feet, right? That's double the signage. Now, in an election, and there's only 2 guys running, every advantage counts. This is blatantly against the rules, and he knows it. That, once again, Phil Blancori thinking nobody's going to call him on it.
I don't know, Scott. I'm starting to believe that it's actually the opposite.
He just doesn't care?
No, he's just not that bright. I mean, I'm sorry. You know, I'll go back.
But he's our town council president, Todd. Come on. He's our town council president. He's an upstanding guy.
I promised myself I'd be nice, and I'm not being nice.
Keep your promise. Keep your promise.
I'm trying real hard.
I'll be the bad guy tonight.
But But it's not unfair to say incompetence. You know, I mean, that doesn't make anybody a bad person.
No.
So let's just say that it's that. But whatever it is, it's lazy, and how can you vote for it, right? Like, it's at the very least, it's lazy, and we don't have time for lazy. You know, we need. You know, he's not only is he going over the size. He's also going over you got, and believe me, I've been part of campaigns where I've actually done this. Because I thought if you have a 3 family, you know, each one counts as a sign on the one.
Yeah.
It's not
one property.
It's
one lot.
Property lot, correct.
Yep,
and he's
one lot.
He's well over that, he's over that in a couple of places, and he, you know.
So who's in charge of that? What's his last name? Legee?
Al Legee is the building inspector.
So, but he's also in charge of the ordinances, right? He enforces ordinances in the town.
Yeah.
You people need to call him and make him do his job and tell Phil Blancori that he needs to take down the illegal signs and replace them with proper signage. Now, people, this isn't a thing about signs. Just like people were misconstruing what we were saying about the pride flag. We had no issue with the pride flag. It was the fact that Phil flew it without permission. This isn't about signs. I don't care where he puts his signs, or we don't care where he puts his signs, as long as they're put in the right places and they're the right size, just like his opponents.
All right, needs to follow the rules.
That's all we're asking. But the guy doesn't do it. He doesn't do it. I don't know. I can't think that he's just. You say he's incompetent and he's just not that bright. I think he's doing it on purpose. I think, and I could be wrong. It's my opinion, and the views expressed on the Winthrop Votes live stream are that of myself and Todd and the callers. Okay, it's just opinions and views. That's it. I think he does it on purpose. Because nobody can make this many mistakes, and I don't. It blows my mind. I just think he does it purposefully.
Yeah, I mean,
look at the list. There's going to be a couple more by the time November rolls around. The guy's on a roll.
All right, let's go back for sure. The virtue signaling was twofold. I think he saw it, and actually, this is quite clever of him. He saw it as an opportunity to try to add votes to his till. I mean, look, my understanding, and I heard this through the grapevine, and it may not be true, but it wouldn't surprise me. I've heard that because I'm supporting Jim Lettieri, Tracy Honan's supporting Phil, and the reason I share that not to be petty, but to say, look, this was running. I encouraged her to run because she told me how much she loathed Phil. And yeah, I'm letting it out because no more secrets are safe between her and I because, past events.
Yeah.
But the point,
because you called her out and she
right.
doesn't like that. You hurt her feelings.
Yeah. Well,
and she's a sensitive person, evidently.
You're
in politics.
That's right.
But you're sensitive. You're a town councilor at large, but you're sensitive.
The fact
Wrong
is,
job. Wrong job.
The fact is, it worked. He got her vote because he's been virtue signaling, or maybe it is because
he let her talk. He flew the flag. He's doing everything she wants because he thinks he's building. He thinks that's an ally in the election. But it's up to the voters. It's up to you guys that are watching. Who do you want? I mean, I think it's pretty plain on who we say shouldn't be town council president, running the town of Winthrop with interim jobs that people are dropping like flies underneath them. What does that tell you?
Here's an interesting fact.
Leadership starts from the top.
That's right.
If you're a lousy leader, it's going to start to crumble below you.
And
that's where Winthrop is right now.
The council has been a clown show for how long? I mean, look, we're going to talk about those texts next week with the open meeting violations, and these absolutely were texts being exchanged between Phil Boncory and Austin Faison. Austin Faison calling Jim, basically calling him effing insane, telling Phil to step in and stop him. Phil essentially taking the side of the town manager over his colleague who together they built this, whether you like it or not, town council model. They've been serving the same amount of time. That's right.
That's a good point.
It's absolutely insane that if anybody thinks this is not, this isn't the reason that this town is in the shape it's in. We have had so many bad leaders in the past, going back to the Goldstein lawsuit. I mean,
what has Phil done in 2 years?
Nada. What has he done? He flew a flag.
If somebody can comment in or call us and let us know what Phil Boncory has done for this town as the town council president, the leader, the top of the heap. If you could tell us anything he's done good for the town, other than, I guess, drive his Rolls Royce during the Horribles parade, according to somebody.
Is it a Rolls?
Someone said, he can't. Yeah, he drives his Rolls Royce during the Horribles parade or whatever it is. I don't know, but
I just see him being a big guy that hangs at the Bada Bing. You know what I mean?
A wannabe. Anyways, the town zoning administrator must immediately issue a cease. This was sent to me by somebody. The town zoning administrator must immediately issue a cease and desist order for the removal of all illegal-sized signs. So that would be Legee, right?
Al Legee, yeah.
Al Legee. So Al Legee, if you know Al Legee, if you know his phone number, give him a call.
Give him a ring on the hotline.
And tell him, because now he's in it.
I went down.
Now he just got brought into it.
So to back up a little bit, a few people I've spoken to today who have involved families have told me, they brought to me this story about the signs and said they were going to be calling the building department, the building inspector, to get him to go enforce the rules. So we'll see. I went down to him. Yeah,
two people told me.
Okay, so two told you. Yep.
I got one through a text and one through an email. So this is not. I mean, and I'm so thankful that there's people paying attention.
Yep.
We're both thankful, because that's what we want from this show. We want to bring attention to the things, transparency. That, remember, the slogan for this show is Winthrop Votes Live. We bring you the news that the Winthrop transcript doesn't.
Won't. Yep. No, they'll try to cover for Phil on this one.
Yeah, the transcript is a joke. I had three pages of ads, I heard, and it's getting thinner by the week.
If you got a bird cage or you need to teach your dog how to go wee, it's a great tool.
Yeah. They're just in it for the advertising. The transcript.
I do.
If one reporter, because they're not journalists, okay, let's get that straight. Journalism is dead. Journalism had integrity.
We're bringing it
Journalism had bipartisan, thought process. They just went after the story. They didn't care if it was a Republican, Democrat, liberal, conservative, left wing, right wing. They didn't care. Journalists would go after the story. That doesn't exist anymore. So the word journalist doesn't exist. But I guess you're labeled a reporter if you work for a newspaper. If one reporter from the transcript came to us and said, "Hey, what's up with those text messages? I'd like to run." I would buy them dinner. I'd buy them lunch and dinner. Just for stepping up and going, "We're interested in that." But do you think they're interested? The Winthrop transcript is interested in any of this?
No.
It's the penny saver. That's what I call it. The penny saver.
We're back at the penny saver.
Back in the day, the penny saver. All right, go on. What were you saying?
It's all right. Yeah, can you do me a favor and bring up what I just shared, please? So this is the bottom of the text from last week. This is the section that was forwarded to Terry Delahanty from Austin Faison, based upon the above, which is, I'm assuming it's from this comment, which says, basically, this is Phil saying to Austin, "You are burning bridges with our state polls who we need to go to for money. This is intimidation at a minimum. I'm sorry. Maybe it's not unethical. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, but it's, I mean, think about it. What are you doing, buddy? You're the town manager. We need money. These guys get us money and you're screwing it up, right? Like, come on. That is absolutely, at the very least, intimidation, not recommendation.
For a harbor master position.
For a harbor master, right.
Again, that's insane that he brings out those big guns because he thinks the state politicians aren't going to give Winthrop money because Austin Faison chose the wrong harbor master. Right. Sorry, Winthrop. We're not going to give you any money. We don't like your harbor master.
Silly.
Are you kidding me?
So nuts.
What is, like, the harbor master? It's going to cost Winthrop money?
So let's be fair. Okay, so let's play devil's advocate because I do think there's some truth to this. I do think Austin was spending an awful lot of time towards the end of his career in Winthrop lining up a lawsuit with us. I do.
And that's possible. That's quite possible. Yeah.
When we go through these texts next week, there's a pattern there. I mean, there's him complaining about Jim, right? Him complaining about the way Jim talks to him, and you'll see this when we go through these texts. Jim Lettieri is talking about, and I think he was trying to make a case of intimidation from the counselors. And this here is him saying, this is clearly about Phil. I'm sending this. He sent this to the chief of police. I'm sending you this because I want to express my actual fear that I may face physical harm if I were to share this with the media or detail why I do not feel ethical continuing in this. It goes on to say,
continue in this position,
to serve in this position. Okay. And this is Terry saying, let's talk. And okay, this is back on April 16th, as you can see. So what is he saying because Phil's Italian, he's going to put a hit out on him? Like,
that might be a stretch, unless that's the way Phil acts toward him. And then we can't, that's perception. You can't really judge it. You can't change it. He could have perceived him as a threatening person.
Okay. So,
and Phil probably isn't.
But that will be that at the very least, though, Scott, if there ever were a case, that would be the argument, right? That would be the defense, if you will, or the.
Like I said, in law enforcement, you can't tell somebody how they feel. I couldn't go up to somebody in uniform and say, "You're not afraid of me,"
right?
Dude, you're scaring me. You're not afraid of me.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
And regardless of what the truth is, the fact is this whole thing was created for two reasons by Phil. One, he didn't stop. Not only did he not extend Austin's contract, he actually fought, and God knows why he was fighting to extend it when all through his election, he was saying he was going to get rid of him. In fact, he had unkind words to say about the former council president. Not vicious or mean, but unkind words to say about the former town council president's performance as it relates to the town manager, Austin Faison. And he swore up and down he was going to get rid of this guy.
Well, He did, and it cost the town $130,000 of taxpayers' money.
Because he's a boob.
So
Sorry.
he blew that one.
Yeah, he did. Anyway, so that I wanted to put that out there because that's the counter argument. We can, we're not judge, jury, and executioner. We're just putting the information out there. Who knows? I think I have a good handle on what the truth is, based upon all the things I've read. I certainly don't believe Phil is going to put a hit out on the guy or cause physical harm. I think that's a bit of a stretch, but I do think he felt. Listen, I think progressivism. I'm sorry. I think ultra progressives have something going on up here that makes them not be logical and think crazy things. And I think this guy, maybe he really did think because of, again, the text we're going to talk about next week had everything to do with the whole trash contract situation. From what I understand, it was clear Austin screwed up, but no repercussions. But he felt like he was being attacked, and we'll get into that more next week.
Yeah, and again, his perception is what it is. If he perceived it, can't change that.
No, you can't.
And we're not on board with the fact that I also don't think that Phil would go to that length. I don't think it's not logical. But again, this is what the guy said. You can't change that. It's what he said. And for all I know, he meant it. He really did feel threatened somehow. I
don't think the Angelos or the Gambino family were looking up Phil Boncory.
Just like I don't think the state, politicians are like, we don't like your harbor master. Phil, what did you do, Phil? You let this happen.
How dare you?
The wrong harbor master. How dare you?
So the last item up for bids on my list, Scott, I have some exciting news about a special interview guest appearance. And this is one, hi, Johnny Cash. This is one that you're not going to want to miss. Monday, November 1st at 8 o'clock, we are going to have Chief and acting town council manager Terry Delahanty on for an interview.
Excellent.
And we are going to get to ask some really good questions of this guy.
I mean,
I'm psyched for it.
As much as he can talk about, I think.
Sure, yeah. There are
as much as he can talk about. And he is still in those positions. So, it's a different kind of interview. He's not running for anything. So it's just going to be and we appreciate him coming on. And we appreciate people watching this and pushing it for us. Because I always say this on my live streams, the viewers are the engine that makes this vehicle run. Without you guys watching and pushing and letting other people know and sharing it, then, we'd just be two guys rambling to each other. And, sometimes Todd talks a lot. Just saying.
My giggle sounds like Precious Pup.
Who do we have on running for school committee? We got somebody else coming on?
Yeah, we're going to have Suzanne Leonard is all lined up for October 25th.
October 25th. Okay.
She's either the number two or she's either the number 2 or 3 spot in the on the ballot. So she's in a very good position to get elected, as far as in my opinion. And I could be all wet here, but I feel like she's in a good spot.
Right. Somebody sent me this also, and again, evidently we're striking a nerve with people of Winthrop and the voters and the people that are interested. Somebody sent me this, and it's actually pretty cool. It says, elections are the essence of democracy. Elections allow people to select their political leaders and then to hold them accountable. But for elections to fulfill their critical function, they must be free and fair. Just holding an election is not enough. If one candidate is allowed to violate a law, it gives that candidate an unfair advantage. It is critically important to the integrity of the upcoming local election to demand that all political candidates, including Phil Boncory, comply with the town's political campaign sign ordinances. And if a candidate refuses to comply, the town zoning administrator must seek swift enforcement and immediately impose meaningful consequences to eradicate those violations. In other words, get his attention. So I believe we put him on blast tonight.
I wonder how much it's going to cost them to.
Well, how much did it cost him to put up illegal signs? How much did he pay for those? It must have come from that campaign money, his war chest that he earned at the golf club. And that's a whole nother story.
$100 a plate for chicken fingers.
Well, I heard Jim's had a good showing. Jim Letary.
It was at the Hong Kong Dragon, so I don't know what. I don't think.
See, that's a man of the people right there.
That's right. Just bring.
I have mine at a Chinese restaurant.
Yeah. He's trying to.
I love that stuff, though.
He's trying to connect with the fabric of Winthrop.
That's as down to earth as you can get. Hey, I'm having a soiree at the golf club. Yeah. It's donations are recommended, and if you're a senior, you're free. It's at the golf club. And the other guy, I'm having mine at the Chinese restaurant. Come on over. Come on, have a Mai Tai. Have a scorpion bowl.
Have you been there, by the way? I think it's the old Duke and Ray's. Do you remember the Duke? You must remember the Duke and Ray's.
I do remember Duke and Ray's, yeah.
I think it's either that one or the one to the right of it.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I haven't been in Winthrop since the Koof.
What's the Koof?
It's the C word that you don't want to say because you'll get a sign on your post saying you violated
we'll talk
Koof rules.
I got you. All right.
That's a C. That's a trigger word for Facebook.
Mm.
It's in the algorithm. If you even say the word, you're gonna get tagged and flagged. It's almost guaranteed. So I call it the Koof.
You know, I do like your timeline was great. Or not your timeline, your top 10 list. I think we should have some fun with this. Maybe next time we'll do like Johnny Costin used to do. And we'll do the Swami top 10 or the Swami says. I'll put the Swami hat on and say the Swami says.
Well, his actions do fit into a comedy routine, so
Yeah, and I bringing it back to the serious note though, this all just comes back to, for me anyway. Like I try to look at this a little bit more globally. All these little tiny things individually and on their own, they really don't mean much, right? They don't mean that much. I mean, is a big sign a real problem? Not really. But it's a pattern, and it's a very consistent pattern.
He consistently steps over the line. He always steps over the line. And to quote the great Charlie Murphy, he's a habitual line stepper.
That's right.
He's a habitual line stepper. He just keeps crossing the line. Let's see. Leo, can we bring on a candidate for state senator who will be representing Winthrop if they want to come on? Leo, you got those connects, buddy. You're the one with those connects. You get us that. You get us that person, and they can come on. Leo's the guy they go and have coffee with. So he's the pulse. He's one of the pulses of Winthrop.
That's right. That's right. Everybody loves Leo.
How can you not?
Is he a friend of the show, though? I mean, I think
Leo's a great friend of the show.
That's for that. I'm voting thumbs up for that one.
I wish he would run for office.
I've asked him a few times, and he uses nice language to tell me to go do things to myself.
Excellent. All right, buddy. Well, we went over an hour. Wow.
Yeah. And remember, so we'll be back Monday night.
No Thursday night show. We only do that for interviews.
Yeah. We're gonna and by the way, working on lining up Lane Petrie. I'm gonna call her right after the show. I'm gonna give her a shout. All politics starts and ends at the local level. Get involved. Share the heck out of this. Get this information out there. If you care at all, get it out there.
So we're not doing a Thursday show, so I'm only live streaming 4 times this week then.
Well,
right?
Let's create
4 out of the 7 days because
you sound bored. Let's make another one.
I need that night off. Live streaming can be very stressful.
Sorry. I'm going to call your wife.
Because it's always live, right?
I'm going to call your wife and say, cancel date night. He's busy.
We don't. Anyways, I don't like that cutesy date night stuff. I never. Just hanging with my wife. I don't do. Oh, it's date night, but let's we're gonna save that for another show.
Oh, good. We should.
hang with my
We'll talk about that.
All right, everybody. We'll see you next Monday night. And thanks for watching. And again, we truly, truly appreciate you watching and sharing and getting involved. We appreciate every comment. And please continue to do so and pass this along. We're doing it for you guys. We're really not doing it for us. We're doing it for you. And we like doing it. So, and we want to keep doing it. And viewers helps and shares help. All right. So we're good.
We're good. And
all right. We'll see you next Monday night.
I love the hat too. See you next